RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr. A, and we are talking about the new WBC Continental Bantamweight champion, Joshua Greer Jr. Good shit. This is good. Try to keep it clean. Boxing talk. Good talk. Right here on the RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr. A again. New viewers, thank you for choosing this. Please be a new subscriber. Hope you are by the end of the show. Already subscribers, hit that thumbs up. You know, here's my thumb to you for tuning back in. Bring it on back to the show. Now, you guys who've been watching the show, you already know. But for you new viewers, I talk about fights galore, the best I can in between work. I wish I would have done a breakdown and prediction for this fight. Like I said, if you watch the show and you've been watching the show, you know Mr. A is a fan of Joshua Greer Jr. You know, I wanted him to be our American Dark Horse representative in the WBSS. It's like we get one. Like we had one in cruiserweight, we had one in the lightweight, we have one in the bantamweight. I wish he could have been our bantamweight representative, but he just now getting weight, and that's another good thing about this fight. Him becoming the Continental champion. This fight had everything, man. Everything. Like I said, new viewers, the RT Boxing Show, we cover the rankings from 1 to 15. We talk about those fighters in between, on the come up, collecting belts. We talk about those little belts. Like I said, and if you're a Joshua Greer fan, you clicked on this cause you are. You're happy to see, if you like boxing, if you like the whole little game of it, you're happy to see this performance that he did. It was his first 10-rounder. So, like I said, I did the research. I just never got around to making the breakdown prediction. I knew Daniel was going to be there. If you study the fights, Daniel's there to be hit like he was. His best weaponry is firing with fire. And if you notice, he tagged Greer throughout the fight. He showed a little bit that Greer, as flamboyant and his character that he brings with him, his head, he's good. He's good. Lean back, shoulder roll, his up and down squat move, but his head movement ain't as good as the rest of his defensive things. And you saw how Daniel was able to crack him with a good jab or a left hook once in a while because his head's just there. Like I said, even when he's firing his good combination, he's not like, digging in and moving. He's on the straight line. So that's something he's going to have to work on because, like I said, I'll go on to first what I liked about the fight. What I liked about this fight between Josh Greer Jr. defeating Daniel Lozano. What was his name? Lozano. Because the dude Lozano, Daniel Lozano, the dude was there to put work in. The only way Josh could have lost this fight was to get over careless in an exchange, because he, through his natural ability and speed, the skills, the craft, the boxing ability is all Joshua Greer. Daniel has a fucking chin on him. I seen that in watching the fight. The dude could take a pretty good shot, go down, and come up and keep fighting. He's pretty good at that. He does it multiple times. It fights pretty damn well. Now, as a fan, I like what I saw, but I'm gonna say what I wish what was been added to the performance. I wish you would have saw lateral movement in the fight. Like Josh Greer, he stood in front of him, started off. Like I said, it was a good performance. If you just want to nitpick it as he's going to be needed for the next level. Like I said, getting this Like I said, he got the WBC Continental. It's fucking great. Like I said, right here on the WRT Boxing Show, the Ready Talk Boxing Show. You know we talk about belts, grabbing belts, building up your career, building up your brand. Joshua Greer is doing all that shit. He's a character. He brings the skills. He's collecting belts. You know, so if you want to talk shit like, oh, what have you done? I've been collecting belts, bitch. You know, people say they don't like the belt game. I love the belts here. I'm glad, because I was looking at, like I said, I was going to make the breakdown and prediction and just work. I got busy with work. And that's what I was going to say was hurting. Because on BoxRec, it didn't say, at least I didn't see it, that he was listed for the WBC Continental. I was looking at his record like, this motherfucker hasn't got no little belt, you know? As good as he is, he needs one of those little belts on his fucking collection. You know, getting those belts gets you where you want to go. And tonight, he got the Continental because he's going to crack the ring, which is freaking perfect because all the other belts are in this WBS tournament, the World Boxing Super Series. You got the WBA, WBO, IBF. And the reason, you got to remember, the reason the WBC belt is not in a tournament, Luis Neri got busted for a PED bust and got stripped. So there is no champion for the WBC Bantamweight. And what does Joshua Greer Jr. have now? A WBC Continental belt. Gets his ass a line straight to the championship. You know, collect one or two more belts, you got yourself a title shot. Quick, there is no champion. You got one. He got this belt right now. One more belt, he might be in an eliminator. And he fucking waiting for the WBSS winner. Top Rank has the fucking cojones and the balls. I believe Bob Arum was hoping for a super fight. This is a whole nother video. I'm going a little off board on this video here, but Joshua Greer, hey, I like him. You know, I like the dude. I think he's a good. The States need some fighters. You know, they bigged up on fucking Chocolito as a small fighter. This motherfucker could be the next United States small fighter. Let's big him up, you know. HBO is done with their small game. ESPN, you know, this ESPN is getting some small fighters. They went and got Dogbo. They went and got Greer. They fucking, who else did they have? They're bringing in German Akasa. They're trying to get the small game going, you know. Well, anyway, Joshua Greer, like I said, he stood in the pocket. He got the WBC belt. There's no champion there, so he got that straight gun line now. So he stood in the pocket. He set up his shots, you know, behind a nice jab. Besides his still head movement, he's doing everything. Shoulder roll, dropping down, changing levels, you know, changing the rhythm of his punches, salt and pepper him, you know, firing 3 shots, then fourth one be the power. He's doing all the Joshua Greer shit if you know, if you've grown to love his style. You know, he's... And they're talking about his power coming on late, getting some late, his last 5 fights. They're talking about him getting his knockouts. That he's now 24. He's getting that man strength body, the natural shit that happens as you grow. But also, I think what was getting his knockouts is his style. He's not the biggest puncher. He's not the biggest puncher. Like, I noticed that, like, he gets knockouts, but it's from a change, a variation of ass whooping from round after round after round. It adds up. It's like, oh shit, I'm whipping my ass. He's getting my ass whipped. I'm getting my ass whipped, and bullshit. You know, I didn't expect him to knock Daniel out until like the eighth to ninth round. I actually thought he was gonna do it in the 9th round, to be honest. You know, 7th round, I was like, oh shit, that's. I thought I was expecting 8th and higher up because Daniel's there too, taking ass whooping. I would have liked to see him do lateral movement. You know, take angles, because the champions, with the way Josh Greer leaves his head still in a straight line and can be timed and thrown with, like, the power of the next level might be different to take. You know, you don't want to find out if you can take that shot if you don't have to find out, you know. Just sitting there because you're not moving to get used to avoiding that. And I think with his speed, if he develops a better lateral movement game, go in, because obviously he could stand still in the pocket and trade with the best of them. You know, he could do that. We see that. Start to develop a lateral movement game. Like what does Terrence Crawford do when he really wants to dominate? That motherfucker start moving and start picking you apart. If Josh Greer can develop that part, start moving and picking apart, he could, once he starts breaking people down mentally, moving them around, because he's good at peppering you, salt and peppering his punches. So moving around will get him points easily. And then once people get frustrated, he could sit down and bust them up, go back on the move. He could be a dangerous fighter. And like I said, his knockouts come from accumulation of ass whooping. So I think the champions in the next level are harder hitters than him. So how he's gonna balance himself out is, I think, with lateral movement, like flip that switch on like fucking Terrence Crawford does, dude. Terrence Crawford has that dog in him. He'll sit there and he'll trade with him to prove something. But when he knows he has to represent as Terrence Crawford and win this match, like be pound for pound, that motherfucker start moving around the ring, start boxing. You know, he knows what to do, and I think Josh Greer shows he knows how to build up a fight. I mean, by rounds. He knows. You see, he works behind the jab. He didn't start throwing combinations until like round 5. He was just working behind the jab, 1 or 2 body shots. Then round 3 or 4 or 5. And around 4 and 5, it went 1, 2, 3, 4 to the body. You know, it was like he's good at in the pocket, beating your ass, switching it up, prolonging to an ass whooping. I think lateral movement will help him against the heavy hitters in the next level. Like I said, for him to get that WBC vacant belt, it's cool he has his WBC Continental, but there's a fucking beast who's that former champion, Luis Neri. Luis Neri and Joshua Greer Jr. Holy, oh man, you gotta keep it clean. Holy fluting boxing gloves, man. Holy fluting boxing gloves. Luis Neri versus Josh Greer Jr. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna have to be a pretty damn good match that month to beat that fight. I'm your host, Mr.A. This is the Double RT Boxing Show. I'm your subscribe, do all the good thumbs up shit. Joshua Greer Jr., the new WBC Continental Bantamweight champion. Josh Greer Jr., Luis Neri. Fuck yeah.